up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Devout Dreamin'. Thanks for coming back. If this is a repeat visit for you, thank you to all the subscribers. If you haven't subscribed and you like to watch our videos, go ahead and do that now. Also hit the like button. Anyway, I wanted to touch on a subject that a lot of people talk about, whether it be in the past, the present, and gonna be in the future, is the K-1 visa and should you hire a lawyer? There's a lot of people that's done it without a lawyer. There's people that's done it with a lawyer. I know people that's done it both ways, with a lawyer, without a lawyer. I haven't heard of any horror stories. I know there's some out there, but I personally haven't met anybody with a horror story. With that said, the way I did it, the way we did it, Gisette and I did not do a lawyer. I know a lawyer works for a lot of people, whether it be they're just crunched for time, they're working a lot of OT at work and they have no time to focus on it, or maybe they don't have confidence in themselves, or maybe they, like a lot of things in life, we don't know about a process, so therefore it scares us, so we err on the side of caution and do things like, in this scenario, get a lawyer. I can tell you from our experience, I did not get a lawyer, and I would not recommend anybody to get a lawyer unless you just really feel adamant that you just want to pay somebody else to do it for you. You have a lot of money in the bank, and you just don't mind paying somebody to take on that headache for you, then you can do that. And when I say a lot of money, I guess that depends on who we're talking to. A lot of money to some people is not a lot of money to others. But the cost, if I remember correctly, is about $1,500 on the low side, somewhere in that neighborhood, to about $3,000 on the high side. And of course, the high side probably depends on how much you have going on in that K-1 visa and if you have problems in that K-1 visa. Maybe they charge a little more if there's more applicants, like your fiance has children or whatever, and you're petitioning more than just the fiance. I'm not sure. But with that said, $1,500 to $3,000 is a good rounded number window of money for that process. I had the money, but I feel like I work hard for my money, and the way I looked at it was, it wasn't worth it to me to pay somebody that amount of money to basically tell me all the information they need to put on the paperwork. So you're going to pay a lawyer to, and of course they've done it numerous times, but you're basically just paying somebody to fill in the gaps for you. You have to acquire all the information for them that you would need to do on your own. You're just submitting it to somebody else. The lawyer, is the middleman. He's going to make money off of passing your info off to his paralegal, who's going to input all the information in and then submit it to USCIS. Now, I know, unlike you and I, when I went through the process, I had never done it before. And there's a sense of security that comes with sending all this info to a lawyer who can be a hard stop and say, oh, wait a minute, this is wrong. You need to do this like this. Or, no, let's not do it like that because that may, trigger an RFE or, a denial or whatever. But, I feel like I'm not the smartest guy, but I don't feel like I'm the dumbest guy either. So, I went to USCIS website, looked at the paperwork, and it's black and white. I mean, it's what's your name? What's your fiance's name? What's your fiance's address? What's your address? Who are your parents? I mean, it's all just basic info. It's just all personal info. If you can read, you can fill out this paperwork. Now, of course, there comes the fear of, am I submitting this right? Or, this technical verbiage, does it mean this or does it mean that? That's where you kind of utilize some resources around you in lieu of paying a lawyer to fill out this information. Now, I will say that we did ours, and it took, I believe, 4.5 months. Is that right, love? 4.5 months it took us from the time we applied to the time she was approved, which took a little longer, I will tell you, and you'll probably laugh because I didn't use a lawyer. We did have an RFE, but it was basically for our pictures. When we had our visa pictures made, the instructions say, I forget if it said visa or passport, but the instructions say,
should be
it was a visa.
USA visa.
It was a visa photo. So the instructions say submit a 2x2 visa photo for you and your fiance. 2 of them, basically. So I had mine done in the US, and when I was in the Philippines, I had Jess do hers. Well, I didn't know it at the time, but visa photos in the Philippines for a Filipino visa is different. It's not a 2x2 as in the US. And I noticed that when they cut the pictures, I noticed they were slightly smaller than mine, but I thought, you know what, there's white space when they, post, cut, crop, whatever, the photo into the visa, so I'm sure it won't be a problem. So I recognize the problem. I just didn't think it would be a problem. I didn't think it was that technical. So of course, had I used a lawyer, that wouldn't have happened. But that delayed our process by about 4 weeks, and I would not.
2 weeks only, love.
Yeah, but total 4 weeks, and I'll explain the 4 weeks. I would not pay a lawyer $1,500. I wouldn't even pay a lawyer $800 to save me those 4 weeks. And I'll tell you why, and I'll break it down. Basically, the 4-week delay was by the time USCIS identified that the pictures were a problem, it took them a week to mail me the notice. Then it took a week for Jess to go get new photos. And then it took a week for that to come to me, or for me to prepare it. And then it took a week for USCIS to acknowledge that they received the new ones and say, okay, we're going forward with your application. So 4-week total delay. Had that not happened, then our visa would have been approved within, I say, 3 months and 1 week. And I say that, so it took a total of 4.5 months. Deduct the 4 weeks, that's 3.5 months. There was a 1-week delay where Jess had some issues going on that she couldn't quite get online and make the application and choose her date for her interview, right? Her interview at the embassy. So she was delayed by 1 week. So technically, had she not been delayed 1 week, had I not made the mistake or allowed the mistake on the visa photos, that would have cut off 4 weeks. So all in all, it would have went 3 months and 1 week. I didn't mind the 4-week delay. I wasn't hugely upset about it because the way I looked at it is that just gave me 4 more weeks to prepare for her coming here, like, installing the bidet for her and things like that. But it also gave her 4 weeks to be with her family, a family that she was about to leave and not know when she was going to be able to go back and see them. So for me, it was okay because I knew she got 4 additional weeks to spend with her family before she said goodbyes. So, in my opinion, can anybody do it? Yes. Is that what's best for you and your personality? Maybe not. That's up to you. You know yourself better than I do. Are you wrong if you get a lawyer? No. But I will say that it's money you could save. Quite honestly, it was such an easy process. I'm really thinking myself of what a great business that would be, is to do a K1 visa business where, if a lawyer's $1,500, I'll do it for you for $750. Send me $750 and I'll do your K1 visa, because it is really stupid simple. You go to USCIS website, it gives you a list of everything you need to submit. It gives you every single piece of paper you need to submit. And it's all right there. If you can read and you can write, you can do it. I'll tell you how mine went. I was in the U.S. I knew I was going to the Philippines for 3.5, 4 months. And I knew at that time would be a good time for us to fill out our K1 visa. So while I was in the U.S., I printed out all the proper paperwork, even made a couple of copies in case I made a typing error or a writing error. Printed it all out. I bought 3 binders so I could make 3 identical copies of this K1 visa application. One would go with Jess. 2 would come back to the U.S. with me, and as soon as I landed in the U.S., I would mail one to USCIS. That gave me the confidence that I had an identical copy, she had an identical copy to the one I mailed to USCIS in case it got lost in the mail or whatever. We would both have an identical copy. So when I was in the Philippines, we really filled that application out within, I would say, 5 to 7 days. It wasn't stressful. I didn't sit down and do it all day. I just leisurely, over a 1 week period, I told Jess, hey, this is the week we'll just sit down and hammer out the stuff. So we probably looked at it for 2 to 3 hours a day over a 7-day period. And we just say, okay, this piece of paper today, let's knock out the biographical information. And we do that. The next day, fill out the whatever information. And the next day, fill out another piece of paper. And we just whittled away at it 1 day at a time over 7 days, put the binders together, 3 identical copies, and that was it. It's really, really simple. So if you feel like you need a lawyer, I would say review the paperwork. Or, go to the website and look at how simple the paperwork is. And if you still feel not so confident after that, then yeah, you can get a lawyer. But I'm here to tell you, I've done it. I know people who've done it. You don't need a lawyer. And it's not that scary of a process. Immigration is not there to deny you because you made a mistake. If you make a mistake, they'll let you know, hey, you need to redo this. It's not that serious that you will be denied for making an honest mistake. Now, if you make a mistake that looks like you forged something, or you're trying to get over on the government and sneak somebody in here that shouldn't be here or something to that effect, then yeah, of course you could run the risk of being denied. But if you have a legit, like they say, bona fide relationship, and you know this and you have no doubts about it and you can fully support it 110% with evidence, then you don't need a lawyer. So again, that's just my opinion. It may not work for everybody. It may not fit everybody's opinion. You can get a lawyer if you want. I'm just trying to give you guys some useful information and tell you it's an easy process. It's very simple. You don't even need a high school education to fill this application out. It's that simple.
Just need to follow the instructions very well.
Yeah, I hope that helps. Just read the instructions. And we will do another video to point everyone in the direction of how we did our K1 visa. We'll give a little information on that and see if that helps everybody. But save your money. Use that money to buy her plane ticket or whatever. And, save that money. Enjoy life. Enjoy life. Don't work hard for your money and give it to a lawyer. If that's the case, then drop some comments in the section below. And I want to see how many people really feel like they need a lawyer. And maybe that's my sign to start a business, and I'll do it for 50% of the cost. And we can help people at the same time while they want to give their money away. So that's it. Comment below what your opinion is. If you did it yourself and it was easy, let us know to show everybody else that there's people that's done it, not just me, and that it was an easy process and you were successful. And if not, let us know if you had bad experience trying to do it yourself and what you could have done to prevent it. Anyway, cool. Peace.
Down for the long run now. Red Corvette and my drop top down. Calling in my Motorola and I'm speeding like I robbed someone. Falling and I'm a whip, yeah. Out in Fairfax, going hard in the pit, yeah. I still ball in the pitch.